And our final question tonight comes from Mr. Backer, and it is for Congressman Gingrich.
I hate to make my last pitch a softball, but that's the way it's turned out. Congressman Thomas Jefferson predicted that as America slid further down the path to state socialism, two things would occur. We would become an increasingly litigious and contentious people as we shouldered one another out of the way to get ours out of the public trough, and that the trough would soon be empty. The backlog in our civil courts is testimony to the first prediction. And we have not wallowed in the public trough. We have broken through the bottom and have, if the so-called off-budget items are accounted for, burrowed through more than $12 trillion of debt future generations must repay. In addition to being naked, cold, and wet, my year-old granddaughter was born over $22,000 in debt, not counting the S&L bailout. With the mess we're leaving behind, I personally wouldn't blame our progeny for digging us all up just to spit in our faces. Do you believe that even a lowly congressman could serve as one of George Bush's 1,000 points of light? And wouldn't it be the right thing to do to level with the American people that unless we forthrightly deal with our potentially terminal national problems in a truthful, common-sense way, our grandchildren will be bond servants, and will you do that?
Let me say, first of all, it sounds like you would make a fairly formidable candidate if you decided to run for office, Dick. I think I've tried to do that probably as thoroughly as any member of the current Congress. I think if you look at my track record of coming home and having town hall meetings, if you look at the work, as I said earlier, without boring some of our liberal Democratic friends, but if you look at the work we did on Speaker Jim Wright when people thought that was hopeless and it forced him to resign, I think that's part of the core corruption. But I think it goes deeper than that. I spent the first 3 months, and I hate to use this studying idea again, but I spent the first 3 months of the budget summit trying to understand what happens in that kind of a room. I had never been in a budget summit before. And so I tried to spend my time understanding the mess. And I gave a speech at Heritage last week, which I'll be glad to send to anybody who wants to get a copy of it, where I walked through what I think I've learned. And I couldn't agree with you more. I think we have to clean up the mess in Washington. And I think, frankly, that the fact that the Democrats have controlled the House since 1954 when I was 11 years old, the fact that the same system of power has been there is a very major impediment to change. And I think President Bush is presently going to have to spend a great deal of time vetoing bills and forcing the Congress to change. And when he does, I'm frankly going to work very hard to sustain his vetoes to force real change on the U.S. Congress.